Bring in Eamon Javers now for more. Eamon?
Kelly, what a difference a day makes. We just saw an entirely different Joe Biden at a rally in Raleigh, North Carolina. He's on the campaign trail down there. He appeared entirely differently today than he did last night. He was energetic, did not give the impression of somebody who's at all considering dropping out of this race. He did at one point acknowledge the reality of his disastrous performance in the debate last night, but he tried at some point to turn that into a bit of a rallying cry for his loyal supporters who were in the crowd. Take a listen.
I don't walk as easy as I used to. I don't speak as smoothly as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth. I know right from wrong. And I know how to do this job.
After you heard Biden there saying, I know how to do this job, we saw the crowd rallying to his support, saying, yes, you can, an echo of the Obama-era chant, yes, we can. So the question now is, for the Democratic Party, what can they do? There's a number of scenarios here after that very poor performance last night from Biden, starting with just simply gutting it out, right? That seems to be the most likely scenario as we sit here today, given what we're hearing from Democratic Party leaders and the president himself. It avoids chaos at a convention, gives Biden time to stabilize things. It does risk going into a general election with a candidate who's seen by the public as unfit to serve, though. Another option is force him out, some kind of hostile challenge to Biden to try to win over Democratic voters at the convention, on the convention floor. That could accelerate the campaign of a successful challenger, but it really risks hard feelings, protracted struggles, a divided party. That is by far the least likely scenario here. And then the one with the question mark on it, as we come to the end of the day today, is a graceful bow out by Biden, a chance for the Democratic Party to pay respect to a president that they have admired. Even that, though, is a bit of a messy scenario, guys, because that risks a messy internal struggle over red-hot issues like Gaza. We saw at the rally today in Raleigh, we saw one heckler trying to heckle the president over the issue of Gaza and Israel. That is a huge split inside this Democratic Party that the president has been able to keep a lid on for now. If the president were to go and open this up to a food fight among other Democratic politicians, you could see that split among others reaching a fever pitch. So not at all clear what Democrats will do today. Elected officials so far today have been expressing their support for the president. So we'll see what happens.
The graceful bow, the time for the graceful bow out was probably a year and a half or 2 years ago.
It might have been October, right?
Yeah, exactly. Has he got Rocky in him? I mean, that's what it's going to take. He's got to channel his inner Rocky.
Yeah. I mean, you saw him trying to do that today in North Carolina, right? This speech today was an absolutely make-or-break moment for the president to show his party leaders that he's still up to it. He was loud. He was convincing. You see him there walking on the stage with Dr. Jill Biden in her vote, vote, vote dress. This was all the hallmarks of a campaign rally showing that the president still has the energy to do this job. The question is, whether elected leaders in the Democratic Party feel that this is the horse they want to have in the race in November. And if it's not, is there anything that they can really do about it? A lot of this is so psychological for Joe Biden and sort of what's in his mind, the end of his career, facing his own mortality, his own aging. All those things are deeply psychological, deeply personal. And it's not clear, who else could weigh in any way that would have an effect on him.
Yeah. What do I know? I would put the possibility of him pulling out at very, very low at this point.
Low.
Very, very low. Eamon, thanks very much. I bet we'll be talking about this again.
I bet we will.